Ah, the world of Harry Potter. Butterbeers, magic wands, and these hideous things. If you know me, you know that I'm a big Harry Potter fan. So much so that throughout the 23 years of my life, I've compiled physical copies of every main title Harry Potter game that exists. I know, ladies, calm down. There's more than enough of me to go around. But I digress. Anyways, today I plan to use this handy tier list tool to categorize each game and speak a little as to why I love, or hate, these HP titles. Let's get into it. So let's just address the elephant in the room. This game's graphics are not good. In fact, they're a little bit more than just dated. But this tier list is not exactly how these games hold up today, but rather how they held up for their time. And even for its time, this first game, The Philosopher's Stone, did not have good graphics. I mean, it looks like somebody made this for a college project or something. I mean, what is going on here? Regardless, graphics aside, this game is really just okay. I mean, the full runtime is about 4 hours, which is pathetic, but it's kind of funny considering I actually spent a lot of time on this game back when I was younger. A lot of this game revolves around doing basic platforming stuff around the castle. I mean, not just around the castle, there's various locations, most of which are not canon, by the way. I mean, this game definitely went off the rails, even including spells like Spongify, which I've never heard of in my life before. That's not a thing, really.
Spongify!
If you don't cut that shit out.
All in all, I have to put this game in shit. I know I just said it was okay like a second ago, but let's be honest, compared to the other games, this has no comparison. Alright, next game.
Oh, Wingardium Leviosa. Stop!
Chamber of Secrets is an interesting one. Believe it or not, I played this one even more than some of the later ones in the series, mainly because this one had a big difficulty factor to it, at least when I was younger. Guys, calm down. I'm not saying it's still hard, I'm saying it was hard then. This is really an edited or upgraded version of Philosopher's Stone. You're not gonna see a lot of change when it comes to graphics, as we're not exactly jumping generations very far on this one, but it's an upgrade nonetheless. You still have your basic platformer situations, but you see a lot more in the way of spells, you see a lot more in the way of story movement, and a lot better PvE. Another really cool aspect about this game is the flying mechanics. You even get to play Quidditch, which is very cool and was definitely the highlight of this game. And surprisingly enough, the flying mechanics are actually pretty smooth. Better than some games that I know. Aside from the basic graphical things, for its time, this game was actually very, very fun and challenging as well, as I mentioned before. And for that, I have to put this in Legendary. I easily think it's one of the better games out of the cartoonish style that they went with back then. And most of the community agrees that there are some really epic parts to this game. Alright, now let's move on to...
You're going to go to Hogwarts and do spells and shit, and you're gonna be fucking pleased about it!
Prisoner of Azkaban saw the developers of the Harry Potter games master this style of puzzle/platformer-esque Harry Potter games that they were trying to make. It's worth noting that I can see very clear jumps in improvement from 1 to 2 to 3, with definitely the best puzzles out of the previous 2 games that I just mentioned. There are some fantastic boss fights that kind of have a very Mario-esque, you gotta do this, then do that type of feel to them. Flying has also returned in this title, but in the way of Buckbeak, which is amazing. Dare I say, I even enjoy flying Buckbeak more than I do flying a broom in any of the games for that matter. On that note, the grounds in the castle actually are starting to look good by this title, and it really shows. Just walking around the open fields and taking in the nature is actually fun in this game and is an activity in and of itself. Call me biased, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw this one in Legendary as well. I can't think of a time where I didn't want to replay this game, which is why I replayed it so many times. On to the next one.
Ron, pass me the spliffindor. This wizard weed you got from Bagrid be some gas on Merlin, bruh.
Unpopular opinion, I'm a really big fan of Goblet of Fire. Apparently, this is one of people's least favorite games out of the lot of them, which is interesting to me because this is one of my favorites, actually. For one, I actually do enjoy the Triwizard Tournament missions. Yes, they are locked behind a bunch of Triwizard shields that you have to collect.
Back again, eh? And there are still several shields to collect.
And that can feel like an assignment or a task at some point. I mean, I do understand that the combat is really just spamming one button. There's no real spell variation, and... the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to understand why people are putting it low tier. But who cares? I'm a critic and I'm biased, so I get to say whatever I want to say, okay? How about you
Climb down out of my ass.
and let me make my own tier list, you old scummy bastard? For the sake of being smart about this, I'm gonna go ahead and put this in it's alright, as I understand where the criticism for this game comes from. I'm not gonna spend any more time on this one, let's just go to the next one. I'm ashamed of how much I like it. Order of the Phoenix was fun, but in hindsight was pretty disappointing. I think the main reason why at face value it's so fun is that this was the first Harry Potter game that really tried to make the castle in detail. They knew that you were going to do a lot of running around the grounds and the castle, so they made sure that that felt immersive. And for what it's worth, it really did. But at the same time, I have to go on record to say that this is probably one of the worst battle mechanics out of the entire series. I don't know, it just feels slow, it feels weirdly paced for a wizard battle. Aside from that, I do like to see that the games are definitely getting a lot more on lore, a lot more on canon. That's always going to be a big plus for me because the story for Harry Potter is definitely depthy and very fun to follow. But at the same time, you're losing a lot in the way of combat. You're losing a lot in the way of visuals. Disliked the visuals for this game. I'm just saying that they were definitely lacking compared to the other games past the 4 mark. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one in bad. I don't know, solid entry, just not my favorite one.
30 billion points from Gryffindor.
You can't even get that many points, you big-nosed twat. Harry, no!
Half-Blood Prince is like an updated version of Order of the Phoenix. It kind of has the same stylistic tendencies and the same spell-casting vibes to it, but it's definitely very different overall. It's for sure a stronger game at that. It definitely is more focused on how it wants to play and how consistently it wants you to play it. And the castle is even more detailed than how it was in the past game. There's a flying mechanic in this game that honestly is kind of mediocre. Weirdly enough, the flying got worse as the games progressed in this series. I think it's because it took a lot of the freedom away from you and it turned into a follow this course as you fly through the air kind of minigame, which is not really fun. By far, the best part of this game is the potion making. Well, I won't say the best part, but definitely the biggest part of the game. It's a simple follow the instructions listed in front of you minigame, but it's definitely very fun. And for some reason accurately represented how it would feel to make a potion in potions class. Sure, the animations in this game are definitely not that great.
Bad bloods! Traitors to the Dark Lord! Don't you see? She wants you to chase her!
She killed Sirius!
This seems to be a common problem in the Harry Potter games. Something weird is going to be in the animation style. But again, it was decent for its time. I wasn't vomiting while I was playing the game back then, so I guess I won't really hold it against it too hard. I'll go ahead and put this one in pretty good, as I definitely found myself wanting to play it more than Order of the Phoenix, but definitely not as much as the older ones. For Deathly Hallows, I'm actually going to combine both of my rankings into one part, so let's get right down to it.
She killed Sirius!
Both Deathly Hallow games are definitely two halves of each other because they're both half the time of some of the first games in the series. I mean, seriously, the full runtime of Chamber of Secrets is 5 hours, while the full runtime of the first part of Deathly Hallows is only a measly 4. And part 2 is only a pitiful 3. Regardless, let's get into the nitty-gritty of the gameplay, starting with part 1. So Deathly Hallows definitely sees the series get a lot more stylized. What I mean by that is these games definitely follow the typical third-person type of behavior that you would see from a game around this time. The gameplay is mostly learn what's happening in the story, go to a location, shoot, kill, learn what's happening in a story, go to the next location, shoot, kill, etc., etc. For the most part, this would be mind-numbing, but again, as I said before, the story for Harry Potter really is enough to carry it on its own. The battle mechanics in part 1 are definitely one of my least favorites in the series. It has this lock-on mechanic that has this weird camera angle, and although there is a good amount in the way of spell variation, a lot of the times you're casting Superfly at a single person until they die. There's the odd times where this kind of creates the perfect storm and makes a really good gameplay loop, but for the most part you're sifting through garbage until you find that. Because of this, the replayability of both of these parts definitely falter more than any of the other titles in the series, and it definitely shows. I don't even think I replayed this or the second game even once. Most of it just felt like a glorified wave spawn of enemies that you just have to kill. Some of the levels definitely have an open world aspect to them, but again, it's really just empty space, kind of lazy if you really think about it. But in hindsight, I guess there wasn't a lot to work with. The castle is not where Deathly Hallows takes place, so I understand where the struggle was with that. Part 2 took the same system and definitely improved it, with clear graphical boosts in the gameplay and the addition of different spells here and there. It's interesting because what Part 1 succeeded in with the open world being an aspect, Part 2 kind of failed in that front. It's almost like they actually developed these two games at the same time, and then on the second one they were like, we're really running out of room to work here, so let's just make the same forest and then just put a bunch of rocks as cover, and that'll be the new battle area. Again, I see what they were trying to do by emulating some of the most popular third-person shooters, but I'm not gonna go out and say that it was actually done well. I'm gonna go ahead and put Deathly Hallows Part 1 on shit, and then I'm gonna put Deathly Hallows Part 2 on bad. And there you go, guys. This is my tier list. It's worth noting overall that I love each and every one of these games, yes, even the ones in shit. I vividly remember freaking out every time my parents got me a new Harry Potter game, and these games were definitely the highlight of some of my earlier gaming memories. I recommend playing them, I recommend checking them out. Regardless, in the comments, let me know what you think about my tier list. If you like the video, subscribe if you want to subscribe, all of that good stuff. I post videos every Sunday. I'm gonna go play Chamber of Secrets, or maybe Deathly Hallows, maybe the Lego games. Screw the Lego games. Can we talk about the Lego games? The Lego games were bad. I don't know, it was just wrong. Am I bad for saying that? I don't know. I'm not gonna go into detail. This is the fade out happening. So.